So, guys, today we're going to start with the Revit phasing. So, as you already might be knowing that Revit phasing is a way to show how a building or a area changes over time. So, this we show in sort of like one Revit model, sometimes in multiple Revit models. So, like, what is Revit phasing? So, it phasing is something which let you divide a project into different time periods, which you can say like existing, some sort of new construction, some demolition, and sometimes temporary phasing. Sometimes you just need to do some sort of adjustments which helps you during this demolition and new construction, so some sort of temporary stuff. So what we'll do is like we'll just take like a sort of simple example that you are renovating, sort of say a house, and in the house you have some sort of existing phase, and in that existing phase you have some old walls, old doors, a sort of old roof, and then you come to some demolition which we'll call as demolition phase. And in demolition phase you will going to remove some of the walls, you're going to take off some old doors, and in new construction phase you will going to add some new walls, new doors. So that sort of example we'll take to understand the Revit phasing and how it works. So in Revit, if we, for an example, before we will build anything in the model, let us just have a wall. And if we just create like, let's make a room. And if we select these walls, then in phasing under the properties, you see that it says phase created and phase demolished. So it's what Revit wants to say is like when this wall was created, when it was built, and in demolition, he wants to know when it is removed. So, what we need to do is like first, when you build your existing model, that means that already exists. So, now we'll go to the Manage tab and to Phases up here. And here you will find by default, Revit has two project phases. One is existing and one is new construction. So when I was explaining before about the Revit phases, I was telling you there is like existing, then there is demolition, then there is new construction, then there is some temporary stuff. So if you'll understand how Revit works, is Revit don't have a phase, sort of called demolition or temporary. Those are not phases, those are actually time period conditions. So you will either have something already which exists in existing, and you will going to build something in new construction. So there will be two phases. Always you will have only these sort of conditions. Maybe in some sort of projects you will find that you have multiple existing, that you have created something and then after a few years you have created something, and now you will going to create something. So might be you will go with two existing phases and one new construction, or might be you have one existing and you wants to do some renovation in coming year, and then after 5 years you'll do something, then you'll have two new construction. That we'll understand later. But now let's take a condition where you have something as existing and then something you're going to build. So where is the demolition? So demolition is anything which you had in existing and you're going to demolish in new construction. So that Revit will automatically understand that this is a demolition element. So how that works is if we pick one or two walls, and if we say that something was created in existing phase, so he has just made some overridden properties to the wall just to distinguish that these are different walls and these are different walls. So if we pick these two walls, these says that these were created in existing, which means these are existing walls, and these are new construction walls. So let's suppose if we call all the four walls as existing. Fair enough. And we are not saying anything about demolition. So if we'll say we're going to demolish this whole structure, or might be just one wall in new construction, then what Revit will understand that you are demolishing this in new construction. So it has some different pattern now. So hopefully this clarifies that what you need to do is you, for the buildings which are already exist on the ground, that you will call phase created existing, and if you wants to retain your existing walls anything, then you'll keep it demolition none, because you are not going to demolish them. It's simple. And if you wants to demolish something, you will going to say that I'll going to demolish this into new construction. All right. And now let's go to understand that how these color patterns are changing. So everything about the phases exists here. So we'll go to phases here. So here what we understood is that we have existing and new construction, and you'll see these past to future. So you are starting from past, you are going to future. So the past, so that's why the existing is near to the past, and then we are moving towards future and we have new construction. So if you have any more construction phases, then you can add from here. So let's go to the filter. So before filter, we'll go to the graphics override. So this graphic override is existing. He has some different sort of, you know, override conditions. So he'll apply some material, he'll change some color, and in demolition he'll make the line dotted, and also you can change based on what you need. So these are graphic overrides. So it will going to override your uh, elements. So now in new it is doing something different, and in temporary it is doing something different. So these temporary and demolish, as I mentioned about demolish, that if you build something in existing and you are demolishing in new, then it will automatically be in the condition of demolished. But what is temporary? Temporary, if you build something and you demolished in the same phase. So let us build some of these move walls here. So let us go to 3D, just see. Oh, this is going too high. So let's say the wall is starting from level 0 and going up to level 1. All right, let's us make a few more walls. So yeah, and let us add, yeah. So we'll say that these everything is existing stuff, and we are not demolishing anything yet. We'll say no. So this is existing, and what we'll do is, like in graphic overrides, what we'll do is, like, we'll say existing to be in some different color. We'll say, let's say this, that's green or something. So it's green lines, and then demolish, so we wants to highlight it, so generally we choose for, the red color. So we'll go for the red color to demolition. And for new construction we are fine with black, and temporary is sort of blue color. We'll make, yeah, it's blue. Okay, so now we are ready with our overrides. But how these will work, we're going to see. Okay, these lines are green now. So now let's suppose we'll just tag something. This is, might be, we'll say bedroom. and then this is a kitchen, and this is, we'll say, bath. Okay, and we have some doors. Let's add some doors. Do we have some doors? Okay, we have single category doors. So we have one door here, one we have for the bath, and one big door we have for the entry of bedroom. Okay, let's pick these ones and we'll say these are also part of existing. So everything what we have is existing. Now, what we wants to demolish this bath and we would like to put a new bath here. Okay, so let us make a new bath here, little big. So these walls, now we will say that these are new construction walls, and this these three walls we're going to demolish. So we are demolishing into new construction. So it's red now. Now we need a new door in existing. So we'll pick one door and we'll put it here, and we'll say this door is new construction. Okay, so you see there are some hidden lines appearing here, which means what Revit is automatically doing is to incorporate a door in existing wall. Revit has added a piece of demolition of the wall here. And let us delete this, because now what is needed is we are going to close this door, because this is nothing we want in our new construction. So we are demolishing this, then we will going to demolish this door also in new construction. So what Revit will do is, like, Revit has filled this one with a new wall. Let us go into 3D just to understand what has happened. So you see this red and this red, and there is like a red hedge of wall here, but door is in new construction, and this wall here is going to demolish from existing. Now what we need to do is to present to the client, what you need is you need to create some different drawings, that what was in the existing, what is your demolition drawing, what is your new construction drawing. So to that, what you need is, then you need these phase filters. So how these phase filter works, if you'll see, these are default and most of the time they are enough. You don't need to make new. So let us understand what these are. Show all means only these four condition you will have. Every time you will have just these four condition. Either you will have new construction, you will have existing, you're going to demolish something, or there is temporary. I'll come to this temporary part later. So in show all, you are showing new by category, means the override or graphics you have within your model category. So by categories, you're going to show your you know new construction phases element in show all condition. So you're going to show new by category, existing by overridden. So overridden is here. If you'll choose overridden, then your existing will going to appear in this green color. Your demolish is also overridden. That means your demolish will come in red color, and temporary is also overridden, so that will come into blue. And when you will say show complete, so in show all you are showing everything, new, existing, demolished, temporary, everything. But in show complete, what this name says is what is your final product. So in your final product, you will have new, you will have existing. So this existing means existing which you have retained, which you have not demolished. So that is the existing. So you will show new, you will show existing, but you will not going to show demolish in your final product, because that is not there. And you don't have your temporary either. So the same way, in demolish plus new, you are not showing existing, but you are showing new and demolish, and temporary works. In new, you are not showing anything other than new. In previous plus demo. So this previous plus demo is actually showing the previous phase, the existing phase where you have existing and your demolished existing elements also. So you're not showing new, you're not showing temporary. Similar way, when you are showing previous plus new, that means you are showing what you have retained from existing and what you are building in new construction. And in previous phase, you are just showing what you have retained from the existing. So these are the different phases which helps us. So what we'll do is like we'll make a plan. Let's duplicate this plan and we'll say that it's level 00 existing. Oh, this is a common problem with cat guys. This is our existing plan, we will say. So in existing plan, what we would like to see is we don't want to see this new construction, and we don't want to see this new drawer. We don't want to see the demolition overriddens. So we want to see as it exists on site. So we will say we'll go with what condition. Let's go to the phases. We want to show this previous phase where we want to show existing. So here we have previous plus new, where you have overridden not displayed, but we want to show existing. So in existing, these settings you will see are overriding the existing plan. The demolition, they are overriding. So if we choose from here, instead of show all phase filter, we say we want to see previous plus demolition. But here we don't want to see these as demolition, or these doors. We don't want to see these as demolition. Then you need to generate a new filter, which we are say we'll call it existing no overrides. So new we don't want to see. We want to see existing. We want to see demolition. We don't want to see temporary. Let's say hopefully this works fine. So we called it existing no overrides. So this is your existing one. Okay. So this appear like a plan where you don't have any settings. So now what we want to do is like we'll make a plan where we want to say what we are demolishing. So we'll say demolition plan. So in demolition plan, we'll simply choose the default phase filter, which is previous plus demo. So we'll choose previous plus demo. Here we have. And now what we need is we need a final plan, which is saying modification plan, reconfiguration plan, or like new construction plan, whatever you can call. Let us call it new construction plan. So here, what we have retained and what we are going to build new. So here we're going to choose show complete. So previous plus new is the one. So here you see that you are filling this door void in new construction. You are adding these walls in new construction. So this is all about phasings. Hopefully things are clear. You can use these filters in 3D as well if I use a section box, and if you just reduce the height, and let's see, let us apply some phase filters here the same way. So the first thing was existing no overrides. So we had something like this on our side, but then we decided to demolish. So the demolish is this, that we are demolishing these walls, this door, and this small piece of wall to incorporate new door. And once we are done with this, then we come to the phase which says what we have now. So you see this piece of wall we are filling, and these walls we are adding, these doors we are adding. Now the last thing was, what is the temporary thing? So let us say that you make something on site while this work in new construction, just while you demolish this, and when you are building this one you might need a space to bath and other activities. So what we'll do is, like, we'll mix a temporary arrangement. Let us make we made this temporary sort of bath which we created in new construction, and we are demolishing it in new construction, just because this is a temporary stuff. So how it will appear if you'll go into demolition plan. So we started with like existing. So in existing phase, it don't exist. It is not appearing. In demolition plan, it don't exist. In new construction, final thing, it don't exist, but it is there. So where it is? So if we say we are not using any filters, so we'll say show all. So this is there with the blue. So you created something and you are demolishing it in a phase. So hopefully this temporary is also clear to you.